Listen, guys, it's normal for the enemy to try to steal your attention when you are reading the word, when you are praying. If you have problems with staying focused on reading the word or praying or even listening to the word, take a minute and pray to the Father. Ask the Father to help you to stay focused on what you're doing in Him. Ask Him to help you stay focused on your obedience to Him, because the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. The word tells us this. But we also have to be strong and courageous. The word tells us that. And we also have to be vigilant and be watchmen. And you can't be a watchman if you don't spend time in the secret place. On this journey, this spiritual walk that we're on, it's imperative that we have mental and spiritual maturity. And you get that by staying in His presence. You get that by asking the Father to give you Him, to give you His patience, His endurance, His love, His heart. You have to be focused on Him. Matthew 6:33 tells us to seek Him first and His righteousness, and all things will be added unto us. Because once you understand that He is the chief cornerstone and nothing else is more important, no one else, thank you, Holy Spirit, is more important than Him, then you can move forward in your spiritual journey. But until you realize that He is the chief cornerstone, the only one that is the most important, even over yourself and your desires and your wants, that is when you start to see life how He sees it. That's how you start to see His ways and see His thoughts. And that's what we all should be striving for. But seek His face and ask Him for help, because I've spoken to many people in the past week that said that they're having a hard time staying focused when they are trying to be obedient and stay in His presence. The more you practice it and you ask Him for help, the easier it will be. Once you defeat the enemy and him distracting you, you are on a whole nother spiritual level, and you see it. As soon as you elevate, you see it. And I'm decreeing and declaring over everyone under the sound of my voice that you have elevated to a new spiritual level where you are focused on the King, and you can sit in His presence and nothing can distract you. No phone call, no email, nothing. Because we have to remember that a lot of times we get distracted because we really don't want to do a thing. And this is not for everybody, but just hear me out. A lot of times we get distracted from things because we really aren't focused on it anyway. We didn't want to do it anyway. And you have to align your mind with His mind. You have to come into agreement with the Father. Everything and everyone wants us to come into agreement with something that they're doing. Buy this, do this. Let's go here. Let's do that. But we have to stay focused on being aligned with His mind and His thoughts, and come into agreement with His thoughts for us. In the comments, Father, I need your help. Peace and blessings.